Heavenly Father, we come tonight to say thank you. Thank you for allowing us to assemble here again on tonight. Lord, I ask that you just bless these youth that have joined us on tonight. Lord Jesus, let them continue to be leaders in our city and beyond. Lord, let them know that there is so much greatness inside of them and that they are to continue to lead and share it with others. Bless each household that's represented here on tonight. Lord, whatever our needs are, we ask that you just grant those. Lord, there are many who are sick among us. We have sick who are in our community. Lord Jesus, we ask that you just touch and let your will be done. As we make decisions on tonight, help us to keep you in mind. Lord, help us to make the right decisions. And Lord, help us to continue to grow our city. Help us to be neighborly and help us to look to you for all that we need. These things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Alderman. Would you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman David Young? Y'all have no idea how good that sounded with all of y'all joining in the pledge. Thank you very much. At this time, Miss Julie, would you please do the roll call?
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Here.
Alderman Guy.
Here.
Alderman Austin.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
We have a quorum. At this time, I would like to recognize some of the distinguished guests we have here tonight, and I would like to ask them to stand up so you can see the people you elect. We have Representative Hester Jackson McCray from the House of Representatives in Mississippi. And we have our state senator, Senator Mike McClendon. We are honored that you have taken time this evening to join us in this meeting. Also tonight, we have a special program to honor our Mayor's Youth Council. And joining us tonight, we are honored and proud to have our County Superintendent of Education, Mr. Corey Usselton. And the principal of Horn Lake High School, Mr. Tungett. All right. Number one on the agenda is the vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. All right, we're on number 2, special guest and presentations. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Linville. She is the lady in charge of our Mayor's Youth Council, and I want to thank the members of the council for all the hard work you've done this year. You are a credit to our school and our community, and we certainly wish you the best in the years to come. Ms. Linville. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Loretta Avina, and my favorite part about Mayor's Youth Council was the friendship.
Hi, my name is Micaiah Lee, and one of my favorite things about Mayor's Youth Council this year was our ability to serve our community. Of course, as we know, we all live here, we grew up here, this is where we call home, but I think a lot of times that we can forget to give back to those who give so much to us. And it was an amazing opportunity this year to be able to meet so many new people and learn about different ways that I can help our community grow and thrive.
Hello, my name is Raul Indiguez, and my favorite part about Mayor's Youth Council was being able to use my everyday skills in a creative way to help develop around our community.
Hi, my name is Susan, and my favorite memory from Mayor's Youth Council was probably the scavenger hunt because I learned a lot about my city.
Everything about Mayor's Youth Council was being able to gain new friendships and work together as a team to do different things around our community.
Hi, my name is Janiyah Hampton, and my favorite part of Mayor's Youth Council was going to the Leadership Summit. We learned valuable lessons of how to serve our community and to be the future leaders of tomorrow. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bree, and my favorite thing about Mayor's Youth Council was the bonding experience and all of our relationships.
Hi, my name is Felicia Garner, and my favorite part of Mayor's Youth Council is when we had the opportunity to go to the animal shelter and donate the food and treats that we raised with the fundraiser that we hosted at our school.
Yo, what's up? I'm Dexter, and I just wanted to say that my favorite experiences of this year's Mayor's Youth Council was getting to play a vital role in helping the city, exploring new places, and also being able to share these new experiences, make memories, and build special bonds with others, who I consider my close friends and always my Mayor's Youth Council family.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we say goodbye and congratulations to the 2023-2024 Mayor's Youth Council. It's been 16 years since our first one began back in 2009. This evening always brings happiness and sadness for me. Sadness to say goodbye to the Youth Council members who have become family to us, and happiness in knowing that we, the city of Horn Lake, played a vital role in teaching and guiding them on the importance and understanding of their local government. Each of our members has accomplished great things throughout this year, and we will move on to becoming an active participant or even pursue a future leadership role within the community. It is without a doubt that our Mayor's Youth Council remains a vision and expectations of excellence for future council members. As quoted by Franklin D. Roosevelt, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Thank you, Mayor and Board of Aldermen, for allowing me the opportunity to work with these students. I will now ask Mayor Latimer to join me on the floor to recognize our 2023-2024 graduates. While Mayor Latimer is making his way down here to the front, I do want to take this time to recognize two very special people that helped foster and grow our children and our future this year with me. I would like to ask Ms. Fullerton and Ms. Jones to come up here and accept this small token of appreciation. We're now going to give out their certificates, and the cords are going to the seniors as a representation of our Mayor's Youth Council this year. And then we have a little token of thank you to them as a little journal for them to keep their memories in. So we're going to call them this evening.
I want to thank y'all for everything you did this year. You are a credit to Horn Lake, a credit to DeSoto County and the state of Mississippi. And as you continue with your lives, I hope you will keep Horn Lake as your home, that you will want to live here and keep contributing to our community. And you can see by the dignitaries that are here tonight and all your family and friends, how much you mean to so many of us. At this time, Mr. Braden, absent. Miss Susan. Whoa. Miss Loretta Avina. Whoa, Miss Anaya Hairston. Miss Janiyah Hampton. Thank you so much. Good luck to you. Mr. Raul Rodriguez. Before I present this to Mr. Raul, I would like to state that he is our valedictorian. Miss Felicia Jones Garner. Ms. Micaiah Lee. Mr. Dexter Smith. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Miss Brianna Stone. Thank you, Miss Brianna. Miss AJ just informed me Miss Brianna did the video you just saw. Miss Tamara Layton. Thank you so much. Last, and certainly not least, Mr. Aaron Dorsey. Thank you, Father. Good luck to you. Thank you.
For those that would like to join us in the back, there is cake and refreshments. Thank you.
When you get to it, that's the citizens' remarks.
Oh, that's not me. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still in session. We're still on number 2, special guest and presentations. And at this time, we'd like to recognize Representative Hester Jackson McCray with the state resolution. Please, Representative, thank you for coming tonight, Representative.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Representative.
It is a pleasure for me to introduce this resolution to Mrs. Kirby Carter. The first time I got introduced to this syndrome was with her needing equipment for the school playground for the children with this syndrome. And I think we got that playground for her there. And she asked me early this year, can I get a resolution for this syndrome? And I told her, okay, that I would do it. And I'm going to read it to you. And the reason why we're doing this, we're making the city more aware of this syndrome which we need to be aware of. We have all kind of awareness of this and that, but this is an important illness that we need to be aware of too. Even though it doesn't strike as many people other diseases strike, it is still out there. My glasses. I can't see. It's in my side pocket. State of Mississippi, House Resolution Number 86. A resolution acknowledging the month of May 2024 as Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome and Hypermobility Spectrum Disorder Awareness Month within the state of Mississippi and encouraging citizens to participate in its observance. Whereas EDS are a group of 13 heritable connective tissue disorders that together affect 1 in 5,000 people. And whereas each type of EDS has its own set of symptoms, but one features are seen across all types of EDS, including joint hypermobility, skin hyperextendability, and tissue fragility. And whereas hypermobility spectrum disorders are connective tissue disorders that causes joint hypermobility, instability, injury, and pain, as well as other symptoms such as fatigue, headache, gastrointestinal problems, and autonomic dysfunction, which has been associated indicators of HSD. And whereas there is no cure for any type of EDS or HSD, however, conditions are managed by addressing an individual's symptoms. And whereas EDS and HSD can cause a variety of symptoms in many different areas of the body. So people with these conditions often requires multiple providers in different specialties to manage their care. And whereas access to professionals who are knowledgeable about EDS and HSD is limited in the state of Mississippi, and this lack of awareness about EDS and HSD in the state of Mississippi and across the world provides a hindrance to the diagnosis, management, and research of these conditions. And whereas awareness about EDS and HSD by both medical professionals and the general public can help improve the lives of people living with EDS and HSD in the state of Mississippi. And whereas the month of May would be an appropriate month to designate EDS and HSD disorder awareness and evidence, the House of Representatives supports of honoring those brave souls suffering from EDS and HSD. Now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the state of Mississippi that we do hereby acknowledge the month of May 2024 as EDS and HDS Awareness Month within the state of Mississippi to encourage observation, awareness, and opportunities for the individuals with EDS. Be it further resolved that this resolution be furnished to the EDS Society and to the members of the Capitol Press Corp. Adopted by the House of Representatives, April 4th, 2024. Jason White, Speaker, House of Representatives. Hester Jackson McCray, District 40, House of Representatives. Ms. Carter, can you come forth and accept this resolution? Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was nice. Thank you very much, Representative McCray. We certainly appreciate everything you do for the citizens of Horn Lake. While the representative is getting their seat, the mayor's youth council had to leave because some of them are in the choir and in the band, and they've got another program to go to. At this time, we're honored to have with us tonight one of our state senators from Horn Lake, Senator Mike McClendon. Senator.
Well, thank y'all for having us here tonight, and what a great day to be in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Wow. Isn't it great? I mean, you got the Mayor's Youth Council, which when they came down to the Capitol, I was so impressed with their manners, their knowledge of what was going on, and their inquisitiveness of their questions that they asked. Because you could tell that they really want to be engaged in what their future is. And, you know, it does my heart good, because we're only caretakers of this place for a little while. And if we can make this place better for our children and our children's children, that's what we're here to do. And I applaud each one of you on this board. I know what a difficult task that is, because I spent 4 years on a similar board, and it's a no-win situation. You can't make everyone happy, and just like I can't make this microphone happy. But it's been a tough time in Jackson, as you can see. Representative McCray comes back with one ankle. I have that same effect on many people. Unfortunately, it was leadership this year in the Senate, but she comes back with broken ankle. I come back 30 pounds heavier and looking like Herman Munster. But anyway, I just want to give you a little update. I've got a whole sack of papers here that I could talk about that affects you. You know, one of the best things that we did, again, we have to look after our children. We've got the #1 school district in the state. Everybody asks me, they'll ask Hester, what do y'all do? What do y'all do? Well, it's simple. We care. And we've got good people in place. We've got the best teachers in the state. And, you know, we've been working on this MAEP formula for many, many years, and it's served its purpose, but at times things change. And we came up with a formula. The House came up with a fantastic formula, and we in the Senate agreed with that formula. We didn't quite agree with some of the other provisions, but we all thought that, hey, let's do a new formula. And with this new formula, DeSoto County Schools will be getting a little over $21 million extra dollars. We also have a system to where now we can hire retired teachers that have 30 years experience to come back and teach. They can still have their PERS, they can still teach, and it's a great thing for our teacher shortage. I don't make a vote on education without concurring with Superintendent Usselton. If he was still here, he would acknowledge that. But we get elected to make difficult decisions, but I like to fall back on experts on those difficult decisions, because I'm not an educator, as Mayor Latimer was, or Superintendent Usselton, but and if I missed other educators here, I apologize. But I ask him on everything. If it comes down to something about municipalities, I call. Now, the one thing that the city of Horn Lake should be proud of is that you, as a board and a mayor, just changed the shoplifting bill. And if I could, I'd like to read just a little excerpt of that shoplifting bill. It was passed. I'm not sure if the governor signed it yet. It might have today, could be tomorrow. They were gonna text me and let me know, but you know how that goes with, once we're out of there, we're out of there. HB 438, it's a House bill. Thank you, Representative McCray, for helping get this through as well, because this meant the world to Horn Lake, South Haven, as well as Oliver, all the cities in the state, as a matter of fact. And once the other counties got wind of it, they go, you know, that's a pretty good idea y'all got up there. Yeah, it is. Well, let's see if we can get this passed. And what they changed was the finding requirement on a shoplifting, or making a finding that jail was the only suitable punishment. That was removed regarding jailing a shoplifter. But what was added, we created a new element of the statute regarding organized retail theft. And what that means is persons acting together to steal can all be prosecuted for the same act. So if you have a jump and grab where you've got two over here making a disturbance, you got one over here, everybody that's in part of that can be arrested and charged with that crime. As well as we've taken the language to help the judge, that it's not just the judge will be able to make that sentence. If a jury is, they will go as well. So Mayor Latimer, thank you for all you did. Alderman Young, thank you for the help and the calls that you made that from the folks that you knew down there. Thank you both for that. It meant the world. And again, the state is better off because of Horn Lake, Mississippi, and I applaud you for that. Thank you. You should give all of you. And I'm going to be brief because I've already talked enough up here and y'all got other business. But when the ARPA money came out, there were a few guidelines, and then it seemed that they kept moving the bar on this ARPA money. And those that were proactive, that wanted to go on and get their business started, were kind of penalized a little bit. And we found that there were 5 cities, and then there were 7 cities, and there's the potential of being $30 million that this could affect. Now, what I'm talking about is ARPA money, and you had to go through certain processes. Now, Vince could tell us a little bit more on the particulars of it, but once the lieutenant governor found out that we had cities of over in Tishomingo County, $1.5 million, that they were going to lose that ARPA funding. Well, they've already got a project started, just as you, $727,500. Federal government was taken back. All over bidding process, is that what it was? That they changed the rules. $727,500 of projects that you guys had that was from the federal government, the ARPA money, that was going to be, here's your money. Wait a minute, you didn't follow this rule. Oh, I'm sorry, we changed this rule. We didn't tell you. So $727,500 was going to be taken back. Lieutenant Governor did not think at all that was fair. So he put provisions in that those 7 cities that are on the list now were going to get their money. Horn Lake, Mississippi, $727,500. And which project? It was going to the Nail Road Water Treatment Plant. And that was about to go implode unless y'all were going to find 727. Again, Mayor Latimer, thank you for the phone calls. Alderman Young, thank you for the help with that. It takes a village to raise a child. I found it takes all 5 cities, the county, and all its resources to get the state of Mississippi to realize that DeSoto County brings in 8% of the state's income. 8%. I guess, you know, our big thing that we did, we finally reached the threshold of we're going to start a shovel on I-55 to make it a if it's even 6 lanes, I don't care, 8 lanes, whatever it's gonna be. We've got $95 million set aside to do phase 1 of I-55, and that's gonna happen. The money is there, the engineering's done, it's a matter of letting out the bids, and we're ready to go. Vince? So, another $95 million. DeSoto County did well this year, I can say that. I appreciate all y'all do. We didn't have, and those were there were 3 local projects that were paid for, because we had agreed, as you guys did as a government, and we agreed as legislators, that let's set aside local projects and do the main one vision was I-55. I believe it's what everybody in the COG voted on, supervisors. So they came to us as legislators and said, can you set aside your local projects? We had a couple for Horn Lake, but Hernando had a couple, Olive Branch had a couple, South Haven had a couple. But the only ones that were rewarded is the $727,500. Hernando had a $204,000 of the same issue, and Olive Branch got $1 million for improvements to the airport, because that happens to be one of the top 10 busiest airports in the state. So those 3 local, and I don't really call that a local project, the $727,500. I just call that the state doing what's right, basically. And when you see Lieutenant Governor, thank him for that, because he was the biggest part of that. Listening to Senator Parker, Senator Blackwell, Senator Jackson, who I don't know if y'all have met yet, but Senator Jackson was part of that also, and Representative McCray, and I appreciate everything she did. But if you guys ever have any questions, I've got a list here that I'm going to email you each one of all the bills that we passed, what they did, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised of each one. And thank you for having me as always. And also, I will say one thing. We gave the troopers a $5,000 raise. We also gave first responders, we had set up a death benefit of $100,000. That's been raised to $250,000, depending on beneficiaries. So a death of a first responder in the line of duty now is $250,000 death benefit. So with that, I want to thank you again. And if you ever have questions, call me, text me, knock on my door. It's probably the easiest way to find me, but I'm in that Durango driving around somewhere. Thank you all. Appreciate
Thank you. Senator, maybe you should have wore a red suit with a white beard tonight. And Representative McCray should have had on a red outfit too. Thank y'all very, very much. You were too kind in your remarks to me. It was all the mayors in the cities in DeSoto County that Senator McClendon, Senator Parker, Senator Blackwell, Representative Hester McCray, and the other representatives were kind enough to take our calls and listen to the concerns of our retailers about shoplifting. All of you have seen on television the rampant shoplifting going on in this country. It's bad enough when it's a big chain, but someone that has saved up and had their life dream of opening their own business to be run out by thieves is absolutely, unbelievably horrible. And the steps taken by our representatives and senators are doing this to protect our citizens. If you want to shoplift, you can go to jail for the first offense here in the state of Mississippi. And you're going to get us clean water. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that. Does anybody have any questions or comments for the senator? And thank you for your hospitality. I noticed where you fed them all down there in Jackson, you and Senator Parker. Teenagers never get full, sir. All right, did y'all want to do the consent agenda? Is anybody hungry, or what do y'all want to do? Keep going. All right, number 3 is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through II.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Geis. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Flynn.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. I know we have some new hires out there tonight from the fire department. Do we have any other new hires? Chief Linville, you want to introduce yours, please, sir? Thank you, sir. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to mention that Mr. Cameron Price back there, like Chief Linville said, the short gentleman back there, is the 3rd generation of his family to work for the city of Horn Lake. His mother is worked, and then his grandmother worked there. Thank y'all so much. His mother is Miss Jenny Price with the police, and his grandmother was Miss Joy Black, and her husband is out there. And I think Miss Joy wore a lot of hats when she was here, so I don't know what department to really put her in. But thank y'all for y'all's service to the citizens of Horn Lake. And Mr. Cameron's quite a cook, too. All right. Number 4 is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket, general fund, $577,357.78. The library fund, $12,792.40. The economic development fund, $4,037.14. And the utility fund, $622,459.26, for a total docket of $1,216,646.58.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. All right, the next thing is citizens' remarks. I have a list of the citizens who would like to come forward and make some remarks. Please remember, this time is set aside for you to express your opinion to the board. It is not a question and answer session. And there's a 3-minute time limit on it. It's not a discussion. You come up here, please, ladies and gentlemen, as American citizens, as citizens of Mississippi and Horn Lake, and state what's on your mind. First one is Mr. George Dixon, and we are glad to see him back. Ms. Johnson is our timekeeper. She's the librarian over at Horn Lake Intermediate School.
Everybody, I think, knows me. I'm George Dixon. I live here in Horn Lake. And in return, we keep coming up with this doghouse for over $4 million. And Horn Lake needs a whole lot of other things beside a new dog kennel for that kind of money. We've got crumbling sidewalks. We got curbs that's crumbling. You can't get on this scooter and ride around the city of Horn Lake on the sidewalks without running up and down the middle of the street. We've got people in wheelchairs having to do the same thing. And the dogs are not worth that. Now, yes, I want to take care of our dogs, but I think we can get by with a whole lot less money. And I think the vote on it tonight should be held off until the people of Horn Lake
Mrs. Dixon. All right. I hope you're feeling better, Ms. Dixon. I hope you feel better, Ms. Dixon. Mr. Richard Trout. Evening, Mr. Richard.
Question about the animal shelter as well. Even though I don't have a dog or a cat in this hunt, I think it's a little bit high. Germantown put theirs in '97 for $750,000. I think OB's putting theirs in for $1.5 million. And I'm just having trouble seeing how $4 million out of this city for animal shelter that I believe could probably be built for 1.5 and to $2 million easily. And I would like each one of you, alderman and mayor, to take a second look at the price of this and maybe reconsider how much money is being spent. That's all I've got to say. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mr. Grant Harlow.
Grant Harlow, 2590 Church Road. I too am here to talk about the proposed animal shelter. A little bit of background about me. I grew up in the country. I've been around animals all my life. I've had cows and horses and hogs and chickens and ducks and geese and dogs and cats and reptiles and fish. I have 2 rescue cats at home now, a rescue dog inside and a rescue dog outside. So with all that, I'm also experienced with the negative side effects of irresponsible pet owners and those that have aggressive breeds and other likes. And living out in the country, people would bring their dogs and cats and throw them out there. And then those could be disruptive to our livestock and our household. So I understand the need for an animal shelter and thank the Animal Services for the good job that they do with the resources they've been given. However, at this $4.6 million animal shelter seems quite excessive. You also add in some soft costs because you got to put stuff in it once you build it. Then you get up to about $6 million that we're going to spend here. And again, that seems kind of excessive. It's my understanding that the city budget is about $43 million. That would represent about 14% of the city budget. That seems like an awful high amount to be spending on an animal shelter. If you look at, we'll use Memphis for example. As I understand, they spent $15 million on their animal shelter. If you divide that by the 621,000 residents, that gives you about $24 per citizen that they spent on an animal shelter. If you look at Hernando's $1.2 million animal shelter, with 18,000 population there, they spent about $67 per citizen on their animal shelter. And then if you look at the $6 million that Horn Lake is proposing to spend, that's $226 per citizen, or almost $1,000 per household. Does this make sense? I just have to ask. There's a thing called opportunity cost. So if we're going to spend the money on an animal shelter, that level of money, that means we can't put that money to use in other areas. Some of those other areas could be infrastructure and services. We've heard about the sidewalks. I've listened to testimony about parents in here who have had children have been hit on the road because they don't have good sidewalks to walk on. I live on Church Road, and at Church and Tulane, there's students that have to walk to the high school. There's no sidewalks there, and they're having to walk right on the road, and that's a crazy traffic on that road. There's infrastructure maintenance. I understand there's fire station repairs that need to be made. Just last meeting, we were talking about getting money to fund some new digital meters that's supposed to help save the city money. Another good investment for that money. Emergency preparedness. I understand that we're in the next year or two fixing to have to buy some fire trucks. That benefits the citizens. And then there's also education and youth development with the community center or other youth programs.
Thank you, sir.
With all that,
That's 3 minutes. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant.
$6 million is pretty excessive.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Courtney, is that Richardson? Richardson. Hello.
I'm here in reference to parking in my community. I live in Arbor Lake, and I've been there for almost 4 years. the parking situation started 2 years after I was there because of the HOA stated that someone kept parking in front of his parking spot, in front of his mailbox. So he decided to create a law that no one can park on the street. Well, actually, I purchased my home. I didn't know that would be an issue. I have 2 children. I have a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. They both have vehicles. I have 2 vehicles. We don't have an extended driveway where we can park all our cars on. We're not blocking the street. We're not blocking where anyone can come through. But it's every time a car is on the street, code enforcement is called. It only happens every so often. It's like maybe someone wake up one day and they see the car they want to call. A couple months later, nobody calls because the car is there. She's home from college. She goes to Tennessee State, so she's home now. So she has a sticker on her car as of today. And I just feel like something needs to be done about that. We're not hurting anyone. No one is being stopped from coming through on the street. We just need something done about it because the HOA is not trying to do anything about it because he is, you know how you have someone that's just set in their ways and they want things to be their way, but it's actually wrong. We're just trying to be good homeowners. We don't have any problem in our community. No one has trash anywhere. Nobody's even outside. It's just like an older community where everybody get along. Everything is fine except this parking situation that needs to be rectified because we can't do anything about it. And I've spoken with the mayor before about it, and he told me to get with the HOA, but the HOA don't want to communicate with all of us together. I'm not sure exactly why, but that's why I'm here, to see if anything could be done about it. I don't know what would be the next step after speaking with you guys, but what I need to do next. We actually have a petition signed with 50 people in our community about this parking situation because there's multiple homeowners over there that have multiple vehicles that they don't have anywhere to park. We're purchasing our home, we're not renting. So, and even if we have company over, our company is getting a sticker on their car. That's not right. If everyone gonna have company, I'm not understanding, so that's why I'm here. So what do I do next? What would be the next step?
I tried to call you a couple of times today. Your mailbox is full.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
And I'm a beautician, so it's probably over. Yeah.
Okay, I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. Ms. Priscilla. Ma'am?
I pretty much second everything Ms. Courtney said.
Can I get you, I can't read your last name. What
It's
is
Carter, Priscilla Carter.
it? C-A-R-T-E-R?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I live in the same subdivision. I've been over there probably about 4 years. Like Ms. Courtney just stated, when we first moved in, we weren't aware of the parking restrictions or any of that. When speaking to HOA, he says it's the mayor. When speaking to code enforcement, they say it's HOA. So we have no ramifications or anything in place for when we do park on the street. And I've asked him for maybe parking passes or something, and they have no resolution for us, but they just point us back to you all every time we speak to them about the instances. When we have HOA meetings, we still have to park on the street, and that's the only time the HOA does not ticket or call the police if it's a HOA meeting, and they know we have nowhere to park. So just like Ms. Courtney said, that's a hindrance for us. I also have a teenage daughter that's driving, that's graduating from Horn Lake this year, going out to school, but when she comes home from school, I have no idea where she's gonna park. Every driveway over there, or every home per se, is built differently. Some have slanted driveways, some have straight, some have short. So, and we do not have a resolution for this. So, like Ms. Courtney said, we're just looking for some kind of help or solution to solve this problem.
When I call Ms. Richardson tomorrow, if you don't mind, I'll get your phone number, if that'd be okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's just on this session, at this part of the meeting, this is just citizens' comment. It's not a response time. But thank you, ladies, for coming. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank y'all. All right. We're going down to number 6. It's new business. Letter A is a resolution for cleaning private property, which is a public hearing, which I now declare open. There's a list of properties that have not been maintained properly. And what this is giving the city authority to go in there and clean them up and build a homeowner. Is there anyone in the audience to speak on any of these properties? Mr. George, are you coming? No. Is there anyone? All right, there being no one, I declare the public hearing closed. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
yeah, I make a motion to approve the resolution for cleaning the private property for all 13 of those addresses listed there.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion?
You gonna make that motion?
Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. I want to thank Mr. Andrew and Mr. Don and all the code officers for the good job that they're doing in getting our city cleaned up. I understand people, I don't do Facebook. People who do have told me there's been a lot of positive comments about the efforts of our code enforcement to clean up the neighborhood. A clean neighborhood is not only more aesthetically pleasing, but it increases your property value and helps prevent crime. So certainly want to thank the planning department and the code enforcement department for their actions in helping us with the city. All right, letter B. All right, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to accept and award the contract for general construction of the new animal control facility to Murphy and Sons Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $4,663,416, being the lowest and best bid received.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bostic. Do we have any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
there's no debate that I'm not for this thing. The victory lap that was done in the newspaper this week, very misleading. Right now, at the current cost of this build-out, we're going to be over $6.3 million. Not 6, not 5.5, $6,300,000. Now that, let's keep in mind, is before any change orders that Mr. Bledsoe really loves those. So if we just took 5% of that, just 5%, which it'll be more, always is, and said that's what our change orders are going to be. That's $301,000. We're going to have to pay back about $270,000 to $300,000 back to our general fund for advancing the money to the architect. So that's got to come out of this $6 million. And this building, this palace, will do absolutely nothing, I mean nothing, for the citizens of Horn Lake. Nothing, except put $690,000 a year on their tax burden. Yeah, we're going to get a little bit back from other things, other bonds that are dropping off, but you know, if we ran our house where we took $335 a month out and we added $690 a month to our monthly bills in our household, that wouldn't make a lot of sense. You know, let's add some zeros. $345,469 is going to drop off, and we're going to add $690,800 to the people's tax burden. That's not very good stewards of the money. Now, I know sitting here tonight that it's probably going to go down regardless of the public's response. Do we need an animal shelter? We sure do. But not one person that's been pushing this animal shelter has come forward with another idea or take another look at anything optional other than this palace, this legacy project. People want to see their name on a brass plaque. This is not going to do anything for anybody in Horn Lake. We do need an animal shelter. I'm all in on that. I just cannot believe that we're going to spend 2.45 mils of the people's tax money that we really wanted to try to give a tax reduction. I believe that's what Alderman Klein was going after, 2 mils. I remember that, right? Not now, not until 2039. And the comment was made, you know, we're doing something for the people for 20 years, something to be proud of for 20. You realize when 20 years is over, we'll still owe 10 years on this thing? Doesn't make much sense. We do need an animal shelter. We do. There's been a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of misrepresentation put out there. People saying figures wasn't good, figures wasn't strong, figures didn't know what they were talking. Well, looks like they were right. No other options. No other look at anything else. But I will say this. If this passes tonight, which it probably will because it's fallen on deaf ears, it'll be a lot like Build Back Better. Economy's strong. We're doing so much. Lowest gas prices in 60 years. It's completely delusional thinking. So, Mayor, I guess my arguments are over, so we can go ahead and vote for this damn albatross if you want to.
Anyone else have any comments?
Mayor, I do.
Alderman Geis.
Like usual, you just heard a bunch of numbers with not one bit of information to back it up. 6.2 million. You heard so much for soft cost, all kinds of things like that, but nothing was presented. It was just numbers thrown out there. This process started 2 years ago when we all agreed to get a needs assessment for this city for an animal shelter. And when that needs assessment came in and then the estimates came in, the estimated cost from SPOA was about 4.5 million to 6.2. Nobody wants to spend 6.2 million on any project, just about. So we started looking at it, looking at designs, things like that. And as time went on, we all know the cost of everything has skyrocketed. The cost to build government buildings, the cost for supplies, cost of labor. Houses here have almost doubled in cost. So this project isn't any different. Along the way, Alderman Young has changed his mind on it. First change was he wanted to go from SPOA to AERC. And they presented their presentation to us to build the shelter. He wanted us to vote for their presentation and go with them, and their estimate was 4.5 million. At that point, he was fine with that if we would have voted for AERC. Here we are today at 4.6 million, right where he wanted it. We heard about the Hernando Animal Shelter. That was, after expenses, $1.5 million. It holds 18 dogs. 18. How many dogs do we have in our shelter at the moment? 86. So say we take that 1.5 million and we double it to his 3 million that he's thrown out, one of the many numbers. We now are at 36 dogs. Still not big enough, a waste of money. We add another 1.5 to it, we get to 54, we're at 4.5 where we are now. That's Hernando's numbers. What we're proposing can hold 108 animals, 74 dogs, the rest cats. It's a lot of money, but everything nowadays is a lot of money. We just spent $3 million to remodel a $5 million building. We can mention Memphis, we can mention Germantown. Those were built in the 90s and early 2000s when things were a lot cheaper. We're talking 2024, inflation, and everything else. So it is a lot of money, but to throw something together cheap and then have it fall apart in a few years like this city has historically done, that's where you're wasting money, in my opinion. So I'm going to vote for this project because it's reasonable cost in 2024. The soft cost and everything, this thing isn't going to 6.2 million. That's an awful lot of dog bowls and dog beds going in that building to go from 4.6 to 6.2. So my math, that doesn't work. So that's all I have to say on it, Mayor.
All right, if you will notice, we have disagreement on the board, which is part of our system of government. But I've had the honor of serving with these board members for 3 years. And while they might disagree, a lot of times I disagree with them too, and they disagree with me. But every person up here is for the city of Horn Lake and for the citizens of Horn Lake. So when we get this vote tonight, these aldermen may have different points of view, but rest assured that each and every one of them is voting what they think is best for the city of Horn Lake and for our future. Does anyone else have any remarks? Alderman Bledsoe.
Years ago, we didn't have a park worth going to. We borrowed $7 million and built a park out there outside the city limits. And I had to swallow when they come up with that thing, $7 million. We got it paid for, now we got a jewel. That's probably the best thing we got in Horn Lake that I think of, because I was the park director. And, you know, money is tough. But I remember when we barely could pay payroll. Barely could pay payroll. As a matter of fact, they were moving money over here to pay over here. And we've enjoyed the park just like this animal shelter. And, you know, we've been talking about this thing for about 2 years. And I think this is the best price that we got. And things are high, but we'll get this paid for and we'll move on. And I want the city to upgrade itself and keep coming. So that's all I got.
Anyone else?
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
I wasn't gonna say anything else, but more misconception, more misdirection. The building is gonna cost $4,662,000. We're gonna have to pay back 270. Now here's your numbers. Now write these down. I've said these several times. $270,000 to $300,000 we're gonna have to give the architect. Well, right now, you're at $5 million. Well, we gotta take that 3 out of what the bond is. You gotta pay that back to the general fund. Mr. Glenn, how much did you say your soft cost figure was on that? On that new animal shelter? Yeah. 1.3 million. So it's actually more than I thought, because I only used $1 million. So if that's true, and these numbers apparently appear to be, because they're not just coming from me, that would be for furniture, computers, TVs, not to mention water hose and dog bowls and scrubbing brushes and all that kind of stuff that you're going to have eventually because you're going to have more dogs. Because what you've got now is you've got an animal shelter for how many dogs? And you got how many? And how many is going in the new one? 86. So if the same ratio goes, we're going to have almost 180 dogs. So you're going to have to buy stuff for that if you put them all out in that back area, which will end up, because that's what we have now. And you gave me a figure the other day about how many dogs have been there over 2 years? 65% of the 100 dogs you just talked about have been there over 2 years. Are we a humane society or an inhumane society? Putting a dog in a kennel for 2 years. And I know that wasn't in your regime. I understand that. Now, there's some numbers, folks. And this doesn't even include if we have to do the $375,000 backfill that they talked about on the back end. We don't know that yet, but I hope certainly we don't have to do that. So, Mr. Geis, those are factual, true numbers, and as Paul Harvey said, that's the rest of the story that some people don't want to put out here. But folks, let me promise you one thing. When this thing is all said and done, and all this misconception and misdirection is changed, I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to give you what you owe for an albatross that once built. I'm going to give you that number. And when your tax burden does not go down, remember why. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else? All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call, please, Ms. Yulee.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Nay.
Alderman Young.
Nay.
Motion carries 5 in favor, 2 opposed. All right. Now we're down to number 7. Mayor Alderman correspondence. I just want to thank all the people that make Horn Lake a great city, our citizens, our staff, our board. Thank everyone for all you do. Baseball season's in swing. Go out to the park and enjoy it. We got pickleball. And I want to thank Alderman Representative Hester Jackson McCray. She's left. I want to thank Senator Mike McClendon for all he's done for our city. It's unbelievable what he has done in Jackson, and our representative has worked extremely hard also. And I want to thank each and every department head for working hard on your budget and keeping it down there. Thank you. All right. Alderman Young, do you have anything, sir?
2 things. May the 4th was Firefighters Day. Thank you, Chief, for all what you do and what all your department does. This is National Firefighters Week, I believe, so thank them. Also, Mr. Drew, I don't want to steal any thunder. Were you going to say anything about the new park equipment? I'll let you say it, because I'm very proud of that. In Alderman Dupree's ward. That's awesome, brother. You did a great job.
Alderman Dupree, you have anything, sir?
I also want to say thank you for that. Been a long time coming. Finally getting some things going. It's all due to the department heads, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, that's all.
Alderman Johnson, you have anything, ma'am?
Yes, sir. I just want to say it's good to work with so many compassionate people, reaching out to check on other people this week and in the time of need. It really shows a sense of family, so I appreciate that. Also, I want to say thanks to Ms. Linville for her leadership and guidance with the Mayor's Youth Council. You always do such a wonderful job, and it goes a long way. I appreciate it.
Alderman Bostic, you have
Yes.
anything, sir?
Yes, sir. I just, as y'all noticed on the front row right here, we're missing one of our citizens that's very passionate. If we could take about 2 ounces of that passion and everybody take a drink of it, what a place Horn Lake would be. But Mr. Francis Miller's in the hospital right now, and he's not doing well at all. And I want us to all remember him and just pray for him and be with the doctors as they try to do what they can to take care of him. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you very much. For those who might not know, Mr. Francis J. Miller normally sits right next to where the state senator is sitting, and I'm sure the state senator knows Mr. Francis J. Miller also. Very active in politics. Mr. Guy, Alderman Geis, you have anything, sir? Alderman Bledsoe, you have anything?
Yes. Drew, thank you, buddy. It come a long time getting all that stuff. We started a long time ago doing that park, and we had a gravel road in between the front and the back because we run out of money. But, and I'm proud to see that with that fence going around, it's gonna look real good. So, and the other thing, keep in my brother in y'all's prayers. He used to be the fire chief here. He's back in the hospital. He had a knee operation. Now, they think it got infected, so they went back in there and tore everything out and restarting over. So, he's trying to, and right before that, he had to have his gallbladder out. So he's had a rough road, and he's still in the hospital at St. Francis. So when you talk to him, cheer him up a little bit. And that's all I got.
All of us hope he gets better quickly, sir. Alderman Clyde, you have anything?
Yes, sir. Senator McClendon, I want to thank you personally. I've been wanting to get in touch with you. You recognized the Lake Cormorant volleyball team as state champions at the state level, and my daughter, which is the coach, Christina Morgan. And I want to really appreciate you doing that. Yeah, thank you.
And I'm sure every one of us want to thank Ms. A.J. Limble and Ms. Julie Valsamas for the work they've done, not only with the Mayor's Youth Council, but so many hats they wear here at work. Thank you very much, ladies. Chief Pullen, did you have anything for the board? Anybody have any questions for Chief Pullen?
I was expecting to see Assistant Chief Brown. He just wouldn't come. I know he was on the agenda announcing his retirement. I guess he just was like, I'll just hang out, so.
Yes, sir, I'm doing good just to get him to show up these days, so. But we'll be doing something for him at the end of June, and I'll let y'all know the date.
All right, good deal.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Joyner, you have anything for the board? Anyone have any questions for Mr. Joyner?
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
Mr. Joyner, you have served this city as a true servant from day one. Some may disagree with that, some may agree with that, some may jump over and jump hills about that. But I heard a rumor that you're fixing to retire. And I just want you to know that this city thanks you for everything you did. And I wish you the very best at catching some crappie, because I'm looking forward to a fish fry.
You know, if you close your eyes and listen to Mr. Joyner, sounds like Ben Johnson does all the Western. And that's a good compliment, Mr. Joyner. Mr. Joyner gives me a rough time a lot of times. Chief Linville, do you have anything for the board?
No, sir, Mayor, I don't have anything.
Anyone have any questions or comments for the chief? Mr. Drew, I hear you've got an announcement to make for the Parks Department.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Board. Tonight, I would like to say that they have begun construction on the fence that will surround the new playground over at Latimer. Everything's looking good. They should have that finished by tomorrow if we don't get any rain. And then I would like to also report that the playground has come in for Choctaw Park. That playground that's been over there in that community park has been there for 25 years probably, so it's coming down probably the end of this week or early next week, depending on the rain, and we'll get the new one up, and hopefully everyone will enjoy it over there. That's all I have, Mayor.
Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Mayor.
Alderman Bostic.
Hey, Drew, I just wanted to tell you how much my wife Brenda and I and my grandson and granddaughter enjoyed the fishing rodeo. It's just great to be over there every year and watch all those kids and catch those fish. And my grandson got a trophy there for the littlest fish. He actually tied with another kid, so it was a lot of fun. I appreciate everything you do to get that all together, and looking forward to it again next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Alderman Bostic.
Alderman Dupree.
Hey, Drew, when that park gets put together, maybe we can get your guys together in the community and have a cookout over at the new park.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, Mr. Drew, for all the hard work you've done. If you haven't been to the park, you need to go out and look. New equipment, everything clean, neat, and very orderly over there. And these times, that's very trying, but thank you very much. Mr. Vance, you have anything for the board, sir?
Yeah, Mayor, I just wanted to kind of give you a progress update on a couple of projects here. We are scheduled to advertise the Nail Road Interstate Boulevard signal modification. We're going to advertise that May the 16th, open bids on June the 10th. And of course, what we're doing there obviously is trying to, accommodate the change in the development out there that's happened. So that project will be coming online. And what I think we probably need to do tonight, Mayor, is maybe if we could, if the board so pleases, to go ahead and give us authorization to advertise for that project. And just for your information, the project is estimated to be about $165,000 for that signal modification.
So you're needing a motion now? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Authorization to advertise.
Anybody have? We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Miss Julie.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed.
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
Mr. Vince, I noticed something today that I'm very proud of. I noticed some curb cuts getting put in where Chick-fil-A's going.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't be long before they're pushing dirt now.
Good.
It's coming, folks. It's coming.
And Mayor, I had one other item.
Yes, sir.
That was the Holly Hills Water Treatment Plant. That's one of our ARPA projects, and it'll be the first one we advertise, other than the one that got defunded, so to speak, at one time. And so we're going to go ahead and try to advertise that May the 16th, and we'll open bids June the 17th on that one. That's one of the 5 that we'll be pursuing.
Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Dupree.
Over on Nell Road, of Nicole's place, is that on the EWP project? I think you told me that, right? Where we try to get that water to flow better?
Yes.
Yes. Going south?
On,
It's like really narrow now going into that wide gully that carries it down. How much more water will that come off of this people like Mr. Trout? He's got that problem. His property gets flooded. Will that help him with that water flowing on down faster?
are you talking about south of Nail? Not necessarily. It's not really designed to do any modification to the actual capacity of that stream. It's basically just to support the slopes, the side slopes, and the bank, keep it from eroding. Is what this is for.
Okay, so Mr. Tratt still has a problem, and maybe we can get together and talk about it.
Yeah.
Could we call you tomorrow? Would you, Alderman Dupree, would you be agreeable to that? If Mr. Vance has got time, we call him and ask him about that a little more depth?
Yeah. Okay.
Would you pass that over to Miss Julie, please? Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Vance?
No, sir, Mayor.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Vance? Mr. Andrews. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor.
You have anything for the board, sir?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Board. I would like to start presenting these numbers for the Board at the beginning of the month, every time we have our Board meetings. So I wanted to tell you for the month of April, we had a total of 98 intakes. That covers cats and dogs. We had 44 outcomes, which means that 44 of those animals were, they had an outcome out of the building for that month. That breakdown is there were 9 adoptions, there were 15 fosters, there were 8 rescues, there was 1 adopted at an event. We returned 7 animals to owners. We returned 8 animals to owners. The intake breakdown is that we had 7 returns, meaning that we had 7 animals who went out through foster or adoption, and they were returned. And then there were 91 intakes with those returns. There were also 3 euthanasias, which qualify, all 3 of those did qualify for dangerous and vicious, if you will, because of the behavioral issues that we noticed. And then we had 1 kitten that faded, which made, that's a died in kennel, which is something that usually happens. We now presently, I was saying that we had 86 dogs, but I'm sorry, as of today, that number has jumped up to 94, as we have taken in 1 mama and pups, and we have 44 cats. Folks, if this tells us anything, this tells us that the citizens of Horn Lake are feeling a little bit more comfortable calling us, telling us that there are problems. I did hear before that a lot of people felt that they couldn't call us, but they're calling us now. We are finding these animals. There are a lot of residents in Horn Lake who are leaving their homes and abandoning their animals. So we're dealing with that as well. This is puppy and kitten season, so when this happens, more than likely those abandoned animals are reproducing, which is going to add to our population. So this is something that we're really trying to be mindful of. Also, another good bit of good news is that we have reached about 52 citizens on our food pantry list, and at an average of 2 animals per citizen, we are saying that we may have stopped about 102 animals from entering a shelter because the pet owner could not hold on to them anymore and take care of them. So we have a lot of good things happening, and just a lot of things happening in current events. We are happy that we are having some new employees coming. I really want to thank Tamika, our ACO, who's been working with us, Tamika Pruitt. She and I have been really just grabbing the bulls by the horn for the entire month as we are out of staff. We were having staffing issues. So I really want to thank her for showing up and doing all the best that she could and all of her hard work. And also Kimberly Shell, who was injured by one of the dogs that we did euthanize. She's been coming to work every day, working very hard. So I want to thank my staff for doing all that they could to keep us afloat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Glenn? Mr. Andrew, do you have anything for the board, sir?
No, sir, I do not.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Andrew? Mr. Robinson, do you have anything for the board, sir?
Yes, a couple things, Mayor. I just wanted to thank the mayor and Board of Aldermen for allowing me to attend the event in Washington, D.C., where I joined Alderman Bostic and Alderman Dupree and a whole delegate from DeSoto County from all the different municipalities and the county officials to go up to Washington and talk about our funding. Senator McClendon, we thank you. But we talked to them also about funding and what's important to us in Horn Lake and DeSoto County. So I just wanted to thank you all for that opportunity. And hopefully I didn't wear everybody out with all the walking that we had to do in Washington, but it was an interesting time, but it was good to meet our legislators and their staff that are there every day fighting for us back here in Mississippi. We heard a lot of good things while we were there. I did want to share just kind of the financial report that you had in your packet. You probably, if you looked through that, you saw that we're almost about 60% of our revenue for the year is in. a little bit over 58%. And if you kind of looked through the different departments, we're averaging with all the different departments together less than 50% of our expense. So we are running well. Some departments higher than the others, but the departments are doing a great job of watching expenses. We are over halfway through our budget year. We've already even started talking about budget talks. We'll start putting those things together next month in June and working through some numbers to present to you all as the board. Typically, we do that after we get back from the MML conference. So late July, we'll be presenting numbers for next year's budget as the department heads work on those budget sheets. But just kind of wanted to share a little bit about that information. And we did receive today, and I gave to Mr. Campbell information on a bank that has our representatives, Raymond James and Government Consulting, and our bond counsel has been working, preparing for if the animal shelter has passed. And they have secured a bank that will take up our bond. And just to share a little bit about that, our bond for City Hall renovation, which it's almost finished. We just have a little bit of minor things to take place. That bond was $2.5 million to renovate City Hall. And that interest rate was 4.68, I believe. Our bid or bond for the animal shelter will actually be a lower interest rate at 4.45. So they were able to secure a lower rate than we just got for City Hall. So that is a good thing. It is prepared and ready to go if we want to move forward with that. But I did want to share that with the board.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Jim?
Mayor.
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah. Do you know when the bids will be in on the street lighting for Nell Road and what we had voted on to move forward and put the bids out for that?
Yeah, I was given an RFQ sample, and we have not gotten that finalized to get the bids for those yet, but we should be getting those out. We've been working on 2 other bids also that will be coming up next month for the playground and the meters. But we'll try to get those advertised and out there so they can we can get those RFQs in as quickly as possible.
Also, on our audit, how close are we getting ready to be done with 22 and start on 23?
Yeah, I did print out some information. We've been communicating with our auditor, and they've started working on that. One thing that kind of was tough for them was, and they told us that they're going to start eliminating some of the non-for-profit and LLCs that they do. They told us in the beginning that they would be able to start and complete ours in the month of May, which we're in May, just because they have so many that they are working on all the way up to April 15th. So they are working on that. And I will send you some correspondence. Everybody can take one of those. Miss Monica and Mr. Michael have been corresponding. They sent us a list of 39 items that, and the mayor and I put a deadline of May 1st for all the staff to submit those to them. Pretty much all of those, except a couple, were submitted by May 1st deadline. The mayor and I are addressing, one of the things that they are still waiting on, but you'll see in the later emails that they've started pulling all the information that they needed, and they should be on site next week to do their random checks. They'll pull things that they just want to see, all the paperwork to make sure we're following all procedures. So we're still on course, according to them, to be finished with the 22 at the end of this month. They wanted to complete 22 in May, and then as soon as we get them the information, they want to start on the 23 and have that be finished by this budget year, which is September. So the hope is to have 23 done by September, and then once again they can roll right into 24, which we can't close 24 until we get past September 30th anyway, and usually we have to we close our budget year November or December. So we'll be back on course after this September, but we still are on course for completing 22 at the end of this month.
Anybody else have any questions? Alderman Young.
Mr. Jim, first off, thank you for working, because when we started this, 3 years ago, we were way behind. And through the guidance and the leadership in the executive division, y'all done amazing deals. Ms. Marie, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Jim. Julie, thank you for doing what you're doing. We can't do it without y'all, and it's not an easy task by any means to make that stuff happen. We've seen that. I mean, people quit on us. People don't follow through with what they're supposed to say, and the mud always comes back to this pie plate, it looks like. But thank y'all for what y'all do, and I'm looking forward to getting back on track. It's where the city needs to be, and thank you very much for the job y'all do.
Thank you, sir. All of us echo those sentiments too. Anyone else have any comments?
Mayor,
Alderman Dupree.
I want to thank Jim for making me buy a new pair of shoes. He wore the soles out of my new boots. I'm just playing, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything for the board?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Robinson alluded to it, but I have reviewed the term sheet that Raymond James secured from Regions Capital Advantage for the animal shelter project. It is for the remainder of the bond issue up to $6.5 million at a 4.45% interest rate, and that expires on May 17th. So if the board is inclined to go ahead and lock in that rate, we need to take action on it tonight since we don't meet again until the 21st.
Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Geist. Do we have a second?
Second.
I don't know who that was. That's all right.
What is this for?
It's to lock in the money from the bond for the animal shelter at the rate right now.
Second.
Alderman Klein made the second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
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 Nay.
Motion carries 6 in favor, 1 opposed. Anything else, Mr. Campbell?
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Campbell? All right, I believe that concludes it. Ms. AJ, is the cake still being served? Ms. AJ says you can get all the cake you want. She's not staying around to cut it. So, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, he already had his hand up.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second? To adjourn by Alderman Young. Do we have a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Geist. We have a motion to adjourn. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Senator, you trying to sneak out?